Alright, so I don't think I really had time or a chance to really reflect or even recap the race or the marathon I ran about 6 days ago, which was the Chicagoland Spring Marathon. So, in long terms, I did finish. I finished the race. My time was 4 hours, 1 minute, and 2 seconds officially, according to the results. Um, if anything, I'll try to post it somewhere up here so you can see the official time and everything. But yeah, 4 hours, 1 minute, 2 seconds was the official time. Almost sub 4. Unfortunately, I did not get sub 4, but let me just reflect. Let me kind of just recap everything that happened. So, with the experience and everything else. So, I would say the race itself, I would say was a great race. Like, I would say the course was great. Granted, they said it was flat, but other than those couple bridges in the beginning and then having to come back and do them again were kind of tricky, or I wouldn't say tricky, were kind of hard, even though luckily, I'm used to running bridges and hills anyway. So luckily in my training I was able to, prep myself to run, hills and bridges and everything in case I were to stumble upon a couple of them, and also some elevation on the way. So I'm glad that my training, prepped me up for that. But mainly it was flat though. So I would say the whole experience was great. I would say the course was great, the experience was great. Uh, Even though it was a local race, there weren't many crowds, but even when there was, the crowds were even good, and like the whole the whole experience was great from like the start of the race, like even before. Like the shout out to, I don't know what his name is, but the guy that was hyping all of us up before the before sending us out for the race and everything. That dude, man, that dude was amazing. Like he was hyping us up so much. I really didn't get a really chance to soak in as much. I mean, I was hearing it and I was feeling it a bit, but also there was a guy next to me who was having issues with trying to get his tracker to work on his phone and everything. I was trying to help him try to get his tracker to work and everything so people can actually track him to run. So I wasn't able to feel. I was able to hear and able to kind of feel and everything that he was saying and everything, and like the hype, like it was great. Like his way hyping us out was amazing, and yeah, that was great. The course, like I said, was great. Off rip, the pacing was great. Like there's this one guy that was pacing for the half marathon, the 1 hour 40 minute half crew, which was 7:38 per mile, same as with the person who was pacing the 3 hour 20 minutes, which is also a 140 half as well. But they were kind of together. But for the first half, or at least the first 5, maybe almost 6 miles, like or at least until the split where the half marathon was going left to go back and then do another loop and then or whatever, or out and back, and then we went right and we kept going all the way to there was great. Like I was cooking, we were doing good. We were splitting at least a good like high 720s to like low to almost mid 730s the first like 5-ish miles or so, even 6. At least for me, I was pacing good for like the first 7 miles, and then by the 7th mile, I started kind of slow. I kind of felt myself kind of slow down a bit, and my pacing kind of slowed down just a bit. So I was in the 740s, and then I kind of started running into like the 8s and 815s or whatever, 830s, from like miles 9 to I believe like 12ish or something like that. And then I started walking at like 12. So I started walking around the 12-mile mark, which, I mean, if anybody who knew, or at least for anybody that ran in Chicago, I mean, in my experience, when I started walking 12 miles, that was the year I ran 4:42. So I was thinking, oh great, I'm gonna probably not break my, you know, old time, which was the 4:35. But I still kept in it. I still stayed hungry, so I was walking a little bit, and then I would run a bit. I was doing a little bit of walk running, a little bit, and good thing about the tracker on the app, because you had to have you had to have your phone with you when you're getting tracked. So, and I also forgot my little like pack, like to just have around my waist so I could put my phone in there. So I literally didn't have that because I forgot it at home. So I literally had to, taking Joe's was kind of a tricky because I had my water bottle in my left hand, and then I'll run with my phone with my right hand. When I had to go take a gel, I would have to opening my water bottle, my hand water bottle with the gels in it wasn't that hard. It was closing it that was the hard part, because I literally have to take my water bottle off of my like wrist in my hand to close it, and also have my phone underneath it. So I had to close it, and then I had to put it back into on my wrist and everything with my phone underneath. So when I take the gel, I have my water bottle on my water bottle on my phone in one hand, and then my gel in the other, and I would just take the gel, and then when I'm done with it, I'm just tossing it to the side when I'm done. And I would say, for me, feeling wise, there were some instances where I wasn't really taking much of the whole gel. I think what got me to get 4 hours, almost sub 4 hours, was my strategy of taking gels, because I think out of all the times I took the gels, I probably finished maybe 1 or 2 gels. But when I took a gel, I was going more strategic with it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the gel, as much as the gel as I possibly can, but I'm not gonna force myself to take the whole thing. So I would just taking maybe 3 or maybe 4 good ones, and then I kind of throw it to the side when I'm done, and not take the whole thing and everything. So I think for me, the strategy of the feeling was smart, because I wasn't trying to force myself to take the whole thing. Just took what I could, and then tossed it and kept going. Like I said, the course itself and shout out first also to the volunteers. The volunteers on the course were amazing. The people there were electric when I was passing them by. But I do want to thank all the volunteers who volunteered and were handing out waters and Gatorades throughout the course of the Chicagoland Spring Marathon and all that. I want to shout them out as well, because they deserve all the credit too, because without them, who knows where we would be, or if we would even be able to finish. But yeah, I want to shout you guys out. Also, the spectators, my mom, my friend were spectating me out there. They were between the mile 7 to 17 mile mark, so they saw me for they saw me around just before mile 7, and then also saw me on my way back just before 17 miles. So, and then my grandpa and my uncle were pretty much at the finish line to watch me finish, but also my mom was able to come up and watch me near the end, and watch me not see me finish, but at least see me come up to go to the finish line, or turn to go back to where I started and go to the finish line. But she didn't see me finish. But regardless, she did, like I said, she did see, me coming up and running, or at least walking, because I did walk, and then I started running again when I saw her. But yeah, they watched me. My grandpa, my uncle watched me finish, and the people, everyone else that were finished or were just watching, cheer me in, was great. It was a great experience. And yeah, so I almost got sub 4. So when the good thing I forgot to mention, I know I kind of lost track, but because I was shouting people out, but the good thing about the tracker is when you hit a certain mile mark, it tells you what mile you're at. It tells you the pace you ran for that mile, what average pace you're running at, and then it gives you your estimated time of finish. So when we were going out, like the first few, 5-6 miles or so, my estimated finish time was 3 hours 14 minutes. I'm thinking to myself, man, that's crazy. If I could hold this, I could PR huge. So, but then over time, when I started to slow down, I just kept hearing my time go down more and trickle more and more and more. But also I the anonymous cheers, because you could also send anonymous cheers on the tracker. There was a couple people that left some anonymous cheers, and I heard it too. So anybody who sent me anonymous cheers throughout the race, shout out to you guys. Thank you. I heard it all, and it kind of helped me out. I think the funniest one that I got from somebody was yabba dabba doo, yabba dabba doo. That was pretty funny. I heard that, and I'm thinking I'm like, what the heck? That came from out of nowhere. That came out of Northfield, but that was pretty funny. It actually kind of made me laugh a little and got me going a little bit. So shout out to that person. But yeah, I just kept hearing my time dwindle down, and then right around mile 24. So mile 24, my split was 9:15 or 9:20 or something, 9:22 I think, and my estimated time was 4 hours 1 minute. So when I heard that, I'm like, yo, I can get sub 4. So between miles 24 to 25, I started to lock in. I started running. I'm like, yo, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, I could get sub 4. I could do it. Sub 4 is easily reachable if I can lock in and if I can stick to a very fast pace, I can do it. So I locked in, and then mile 25, I was split at 8:20, and then my goal time was 4 hours 30 seconds, or 4 hours 25. I'm like, yo, I could do this. And then between 25 to 26, I walked a couple times, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dang it. I'm like, dang, I'm right there. And then, yeah, it was like, shoot, I was so close. But yeah, then my 26 mile was at 9 something, at a 9:15 I think for time, and then my estimated was 4 hours 30. But yeah, I finished 4 hours 1 minute 2 seconds, almost sub 4, and yeah, it was a great race. And for anybody who may be asking, well, did you hit any walls while you're out there on the course? Not really. I did hit some walls. There were some walls I did hit. It wasn't any major walls. It was like it was like minor. Like it wasn't anything major to where like it slowed my pace down so much. But it was more of just like keeping myself in it a little bit, and just like amping myself up. Like, come on, you could do it. And not only that, I think the cool thing about the course is seeing the people that you are running with run back and everything. And some of the runners that are passing you do kind of give you like, come on, you got this, keep going. And not only that, but also there was these couple girls that were out there that were giving out munchkins, Dunkin' Donut munchkins, and I feel bad for not taking one. I should have, but I didn't. I passed them by. They were offering, and I'm like, no thanks. I kind of passed because I didn't really want to risk my stomach as much, because it was kind of giving me issues a little bit, which was part of the reason why I did walk, was because my stomach was slightly giving me a little bit of issues. So I kind of was just walk running just to kind of get it back to okay, let's lock in, let's get it, let's not puke or do anything crazy. So I think that was the only major wall I hit, was just trying to keep my stomach. But I mean, it wasn't anything too severe. Like, my stomach wasn't hurting badly. It was just kind of like slightly cramping a little bit. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. Other than that, it was great. And the finish was awesome. Like, the finish I liked. It was great. Now the only thing I will say was, when I was out there on the course between miles 22 and 23, the wind started blowing very bad. Like, started gusting wind, and then also not only that, but also it started raining a little bit, which the rain was actually refreshing. The rain was actually refreshing to at least get some rain and some just natural water from Mother Nature herself. But the wind didn't help. The wind kind of, sucked a little bit, which was also a good thing for me that I did train in wind, because like I said, I feel like if I didn't prep myself and train in wind or any condition, I feel like I probably would have gone slower. So I'm glad I'm glad my training helped me out. I think that my whole training block, granted I probably missed out on some runs I should have ran. I honestly was very locked into this training block the whole time. But also, and two, I also was taking it strategically, listening to my body, and being like, if my body was kind of aching or hurting in some sort of way, I wasn't really forcing my body to just go out there and run when it was hurting, because I didn't want to risk getting hurt. So I did take it strategically through this training block. There are some runs that I missed that I could have ran, but I took it strategic and didn't run, and kind of was just focusing on just eating some good food and not eating a lot of junk or even a lot of junk or too much calories throughout this training block. So, and I think that's what made me finish at almost sub 4. And like I said, afterwards, I think, like I said, I put it on a post too. I'm like, this was probably the strongest. This is probably the strongest I ever felt after a marathon, because I ran the marathon Sunday, and then Tuesday I went on a run, and a 2-mile run, just to see how I felt, and man, I felt great after 2 miles. I'm like, it was insane. But overall, the race was great, the experience was great, the course was great. Like, if there's anybody that is looking for a course that's pretty flat, and you are wanting to PR, I would highly recommend to do the Chicagoland Spring in Schaumburg. You can either do the marathon, the half, or the 10K. Whatever you want to do, go. Do it. The race is amazing. The atmosphere is great. There's people out there that'll cheer you on, whether they are driving in their car or they're on their feet, walking on the trail, or even standing in a certain area of the trail, cheering you on. Do it. Just do it. I feel like doing a local marathon kind of helps you more focus and lock in to your pacing and yourself, so you can actually hit a good time goal. Because I don't know if I said this. I think I said this in a post, but I think the reason why I wasn't able to break or even get a good time in Chicago was because the Chicago Marathon was because it was one, it's a world major, and two, there's 50,000 plus runners running the race, and you're in their separate waves. And speaking of corrals, when you're running in the race, there's not really assigned corrals. I mean, there's just flags on the side with okay, you got 3 hours, and then 3:15, and then 3:30, and then 3:35, or no, 3:45, or 8, and then 4, or whatever. They've got that out there or on the race. But if you want to get, for me, when I because I wanted to run about 3:30, so I kind of had to go up, and then I had to try to squeeze my way in between the fence where the start line was to get there. That's the only thing I would say kind of sucked, was trying, if you're trying to get to your pace area from the back, it's kind of difficult to kind of navigate to get there, unless you improvise and kind of just squeeze your way in through the fence, or even jump over, even though that's kind of a risk. But at least I was able to, there was a little bit of a gap between two fences. I was able to kind of squeeze in between with two other people that were in front of me that did the same thing. But yeah, other than that, the reason why I think I wasn't able to run a good time or at least the time I wanted to in Chicago, was because it's a world major. There's a lot of people running, and bobbing and weaving around people and having to adjust your pace 5,000 times over didn't help. With this one, it was great because you didn't have a whole lot of people, and there are certain people pacing at certain groups, because you had the half marathon and the marathon go first, and then 20 minutes later you had the 10K go after. So I feel like having the marathon and the half marathon group go first, there wasn't a whole lot of people. I mean, there were a lot of people, yes, but it wasn't a whole lot to World Major, where you're having to bob and weave and having to adjust pace around people. There was room for you to kind of move around and kind of just adjust, or not adjust too much, but just find your group, find your pace, and then just lock to it. Just stay with that group. Just kind of latch on to them, and it worked for me. Like I said, this race was amazing, and not only that, but also in the beginning you're not in Bussy Woods completely. You're kind of out running beside an expressway, and on the left side there's the expressway, and then on the right you're running on the road, and on the right side there's some stuff, there's some buildings, and then a baseball field, all that fun stuff over there. So you kind of get to see some cool stuff until then you hit Bussy Woods, and then Bussy Woods, it's a great place. I feel like Bussy Woods is probably one of my favorite places to run now. Granted, I don't know if I'll go out there and run out in Bussy Woods. Maybe I'll think about it, but Bussy Woods is a great place because also not only that, they have an elk pasture, so you can actually see elk out there too. Which I did see elks. Elks were out, and I guess my mom said that there was officers or whatever out there actually feeding them because they need food or whatever. But you can't feed them, but they can feed the officers or whatever. They can feed them. So, yeah, the whole race itself was great. But if you were looking for a local marathon to run in, or to run that's not a world major, and also not only that, but it's also a Boston qualifier course. So more of a reason to come out to Schaumburg and run the course, because you can Boston qualify if you get a good time. So if you're looking to try to BQ, which I unfortunately didn't because my time wasn't fast enough. I don't think I even qualified for any major races, but that's okay. It was more. I wasn't looking to qualify for any major. It was more for me to try to knock my time down. But if you're looking more to trying to BQ or even try to qualify for a marathon like Boston, I think that race would be the Chicagoland Spring would be the best race for you to do, because it is a great course. The energy's great, the atmosphere's great. You get someone that hypes you out before you leave, hypes you out, and then the course is good. It's flat, and it's mainly flat with just some hills, a couple bridges that are kind of tough to run on. And funny enough, when I saw that first bridge, I'm like, oh, flat course. You say, okay. But yeah, I mean, it's mainly flat. Mainly flat with some hills here and there. Not many major hills. Not anything that will kind of surprise you. You can even kind of see them, honestly. But either way, the course was great. Everything was great. So if you're looking for a race or a course to run on, Chicagoland Spring is the race for you, especially for me. I think I'm probably gonna try to do this race more often, considering that it's close by, and I'm not having to having to get somewhere at a certain time to find to park. Even though parking, if you wanted to park, you had to get there a little over an hour before. But luckily, from my mom, she just dropped me off near the start and then just left and went to near the elk pasture and everything. So, but either way, if I would say Chicagoland Spring, thank you for having me. It was a great race for my first time running on your course. It was a great time. You're probably going to be seeing me more often. I definitely going to have to come back to do this marathon or half or 10K, depending on what I decide to do. But you're going to see me more often. Definitely, you're going to see me more, and hopefully my video gets to a lot of people, so they also can come out and run your course, because it is great. And not only that, but the pizza, man. You get pizza at the end of the race, and it's great to have something to eat after you run for a very long time. If you run the marathon, it's great to have a pizza. Just have a deep dish or regular pizza after the race, man, just to get something in. It's great. But yeah, you will see me more often, though. You will definitely see me more often, and will highly recommend your race to everybody or anybody that's running or just is looking for a race to run in the spring or like around May time. Definitely gonna have to I'll put you guys in as a reference for anybody. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys made it this far to the video, give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what you guys are running this year, if anybody's running, or if there's any other races out there that you want me to go out and run and try to do. I do have a couple things in plan. One of them being a possible marathon that I might be running. Maybe it's in the thought process right now. I haven't made it official yet, but once I make that official, I will let you guys know when I do officially run that race. If I'm officially going to be running that race, I'm not going to tell you the date or anything, but once it does happen, I'll let you know. Also, I'm also thinking about doing a high rock simulation that's close by next Sunday, which, like I said, one of my things I wanted to do this year was a high rocks, whether it was a high rocks, like whole high rocks event, or like even something as like a simulation or whatever that's sponsored by Chicago. I'm thinking about doing that on next Sunday, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, comment down below what races you want to see me run or do or whatever, and I will see you guys in the next video.